Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today I got some news for you guys.
Wait a minute! Who are you?
So actually yesterday there was a community pit stop. Obviously I was unaware of it. We were kind of speculating if we were going to get news before the new update, and we did just later in the evening, and that was on racer balancing. A lot of people in the Discord, the official Discord for the game Disney Speedstorm, were kind of disappointed just because, yes, there was some balance changes and some good ones that we've been asking for a while, but a lot of racers that haven't been touched, or racers that were newly brought into the game this season who needed a balance, didn't even get a look at. And because of that, a lot of people are now speculating, because the roster of races is getting so large, by the time we get to season 9, Gameloft might not even bother with doing balance changes, because as someone put it best, it just would create a snowball effect, make it a lot more difficult to do balance changes, because at some point you're going to end up with like 70 plus racers. Right now we're at 56 with this current season. It would have been best to nip this in the bud in previous seasons when we've been asking for it. That way, when you have a set standard in place, when future seasons like this one, season 8, come along, it makes balance changes a lot easier because it's less work that you have to do. But it is what it is, and here we are. So the first piece of news that we got, as I said earlier, is racer balancing. So this is what we got. Hey Speedstars, join us as we break down a list of racer balancing improvements coming to the game at the start of Season 8. At the time of recording, Season 8 has officially dropped because today is Thursday and we've been in Season 8 for the last couple of hours now. And I got another video for you guys later on today, so stay tuned for that. Okay, so racer class balancing. So I guess the first thing they touched up was class balancing, and it seems that they've only visited one class at this moment in time, and that's the Speedster class. So the amount of manual boost gained by Speedster class racers when hitting speed pads has been increased by 50%. Okay, so as I explained to you just a while ago, this update has been live for a couple of hours now. They did buff the Speedster class because I've been mainly using the Speedster class as I've been testing around a couple of things. And yes, when you do go over speed pads, you do fill up the boost bar a lot more than you used to in the past, which is great because I sometimes felt like Speedsters were just the weakest class in the game because going over speed pads didn't really do much for you. Now it feels like it's in a good place and giving some life back to the Speedster class, which they sorely need. So moving on, racer balancing now. The first racer we got here that has been touched is Donald Duck. So they say Donald Duck's top speed stat has been increased. Okay. The amount of manual boost gained while shielded during the normal activation of his unique skill has been increased by 30%. Okay. On top of that now, they said the amount of manual boost gained while shielded during normal activation of his unique skill has been increased by 30%. So not only does his top speed get a buff, but also his unique ability gets a buff, which is nice. So the normal activation where you go into a shield, it provides you manual boost by 30%. So if he goes into a shield, that boost bar is going to fill up a little bit, which is helpful because, like I said, someone like Donald Duck could use all the help back then because he didn't really have much going for him in terms of possibly taking a race for himself. But now, with a top speed buff, it should help him perform better. Next racer we have is Mowgli. So Mowgli's top speed stat has been increased. They're finally giving this guy some love. And then the next thing they have done to Mowgli is the amount of manual boost gained from driving close to wolves during normal activation of his unique skill has been increased by 40%. Great. 2 buffs so far. Jumba. Duration of stun applied to racers by the normal activation of his unique skill has been reduced. Okay, so our first nerf. Jumba has gotten a nerf. So what this has done now is it has reduced the duration of how long you're stunned by getting hit by that blaster. So next racer we got is Aerial. The speed boost granted during the charge activation of a unique skill has been reduced by 25%. Aerial gets a nerf, so we got 2 buffs, 2 nerfs, and now we have Ursula. The duration of the charge activation of her unique skill has been reduced by 20%. They reduced this by 20% because honestly, it's not that necessary. And if you're in first place and you have this running still, it's like, what are we doing? Moving on. Racer Elsa. Duration of the normal activation of your unique skill has been reduced by 20%. So let's say the skill lasted 10 seconds long. It would now last 8 seconds. Finally, our last balance change we have is Kristoff. The number of flaming blankets generated during the charged activation of his unique skill has been reduced by 20%. If you throw out 10 blankets, he'll now throw out 8 blankets. Okay, top speed stats. The following racers are all having their top speed stat increased. Mickey Mouse, Daisy Duck, Belle, Meg, Elizabeth Swan, Jessie, Stitch, Angel, and Fix-It Felix. Okay, so my takeaway from this, it was a much needed buff to Mickey because he was just a middle of the pack racer. He was pretty much average, middle of the road. He was very user friendly if you were new to the game. Daisy Duck getting this buff is welcoming because she's literally the poor man's version of Donald Duck. So if Donald's getting this buff, she needs it as well. Belle, they nerfed her top speed in the past and now they're giving it back. So it seems like it's a welcome addition. She might be right back where she was before her nerfs. Meg never really had the top speed to begin with. So her getting top speed on top of being one of the better tricksters in the game is welcoming because now maybe she'll be able to catch up a little bit better or even keep a lead. Elizabeth Swan's top speed looks to be making a comeback because they nerfed Elizabeth's top speed in past racer balances. So it looks like they're bringing her back to where she was before. Jessie, another racer that was nerfed since free to play, seems that they are trying to bring her somewhat back to where she was before as well. Angel getting a top speed buff, that's nice to see. She's been getting quite a few buffs lately. I want to say back-to-back racer balance changes. She's been in the positive, so that's good to see. And Fix-It Felix definitely needed a buff to his top speed because he was awfully slow in comparison to his companions in his collection for Wreck-It Ralph. You had racers who were 1-star beating a 4-star Felix. That's how bad it was. He had no top speed. There needs to be a baseline for top speed in this game. It doesn't seem like there is one, which is weird. My thoughts on these balances, buffs and nerfs. One racer in particular is still not getting any love since they've been nerfing her, is Lilo. Ever since they made her character unique abilities useless, she hasn't been a viable racer to use at all. Lilo is like having a racer that is not 2 stars. I'm not upset about these changes. They could have done a bit better. I know they've done a lot because the launch of mobile, and this season seems to be very grand and big. A lot of changes to the UI again, and a lot of improvements in terms of different game modes, different features, but it doesn't change my mind from where this game needs to be and where certain racers need to be. Yeah, that is racer balance changes. We got another community pit stop same day. So this was earlier in the day. I don't remember what time this was, but I want to say just in the afternoon, and then this was in the evening. So we have new team mode, so that's a new mode for gameplay, and ranked race. So here's what they say. Hey Speedstars, Season 8 of Disney Speedstorm, inspired by Disney and Pixar's Inside Out, is approaching fast, and we hope you are as excited as we are. In today's community pit stop, we are going to share details on a highly requested new game mode that will see you teaming up with friends to compete. We will also break down some very important changes and improvements coming to ranked races in Season 8. Didn't know that this was requested, but okay. Team mode. Your eyes are not playing tricks on you. That's right. A team versus team mode is finally coming to Disney Speedstorm. Yes. So team mode, I can explain all this because like I said, I have been playing the game since it went live, or the update went live for season 8. So essentially what team mode is it's another portion of ranked. You have the option in the menu to select solo, where you play ranked as it is, as we've been playing it since the inception of this game. Or you have the option to switch it to team mode. And in team mode, you have 2 teams, red and blue. And it's 2 teams of 3. So instead of being 2 teams of 4, I guess the logistics on that would be too much for the game to handle. I'm not sure, even though we have solo 1v1v1. You know what I mean? A solo lobby of 8, right? With this, it's a lobby of 2 teams of 3 races on each team. And essentially, how this game mode runs is the team with the highest score ends up winning. So overall, if you finish 4th place in the race, you didn't finish 4th place at the end of the race. It depends on how your team stacked up against the rest of the lobby. So let's say you finished 4th place and your other 2 teammates finished 1st and 2nd respectively. Ultimately, what that's going to do is it's going to calculate your score at the end of the race alongside your teammate's score. And when it does that, the team with the highest score ends up winning the entire race. So it doesn't matter if you finish 4th place as long as your teammates finished in a higher positions respectively. Honestly, if you're finishing in 4th place and your other 2 teammates finished ahead of you, essentially you won that match, because having 2 bottom scores and having the top score will not put your team in 1st place. So when the team with the highest score wins, everyone on that team shares the win. So it's great if you want to help newer players in the game level up faster, which honestly, it seems like it could be a great way to P level or power level players to a certain point in the game. But also, I'm wondering if we're going to see a lot of competitive play come out of this. Maybe Speedstorm has an official tournament. Who knows? However, I will be covering a community tournament for Disney Speedstorm in the near future. So tune in and look out for that, because I've also entered in that tournament myself and I will be representing Team Canada. Yes, sir. Team Maple Syrup. But anyways, so that's essentially how team mode is set up, but that's not where it ends. So in team mode, instead of stunning everyone in the lobby how you usually play ranked, you now can use the abilities of your teammates to help you get an edge in races. But moving on from that, we have rewards and progression. So one of the best features of team mode is that you can earn rewards and progression for both your individual racers and the brand new player rank system. But more on the new player rank system later in the article. Okay, it's somewhere down here. Team mode races grant slightly less progression than solo mode ranked races. However, the MPR points lost in a team mode ranked race are also less than in a solo ranked race. Okay. I did hear some rumbling about you did lose less points in ranked matches because it was too devastating in previous seasons to lose a race, especially in higher ranked lobbies where you're approaching champion and all of a sudden you lose one match, you'll come in 8th place and it'll set you back almost like 2 MPR ratings. And it's just like, I raced 30 minutes to get here, and within one race I just got set back half an hour. It's crazy. Matchmaking at parties. So this is a new feature that they added in the game. Well, it's been in the game, but now instead of having to go to a separate menu, it's just right there in the lobby, the main screen, the main menu. When queuing in team mode, players can queue alone or with 1 or 2 other players. Players who queue alone, solo, will be automatically paired with 2 other players. There are also no restrictions on racers that can make up a player's team in team mode. So pretty much what I said, you can have a team where someone has just started playing this game and you could have a 5-star racer. It doesn't matter. Race action phase. During the action phase of team mode races, There are a number of important differences to know about when it comes to gameplay mechanics, common and unique skills. So yeah, I pretty much just went over this. One thing I didn't talk about though, which I'll get to right here, is dashing in team mode. Successfully dashing racers on a rival team in team mode works exactly how it does in solo mode. For example, brawlers stun rival racers when dashing, and tricksters receive a random level 1 common skill from their loadout. Successfully dashing racers on your own team in team mode is where the fun really begins. Dashing racers on your own team will not only stun or apply a knockback effect, but you can both benefit from the different racer class dash bonuses. So, when a defender class racer dashes a teammate, both players will receive a shield. When a speedster class racer dashes a teammate, both players will receive a speed boost. When a brawler class racer dashes a teammate, both players will receive manual boost. And when a trickster class racer dashes a trickster class teammate, both players will receive a random level 1 common skill from their respective loadouts. Also, lastly, when a trickster class racer dashes a non-trickster class teammate, the teammate will receive one of the following level 1 common skills: boost, rush, shield, shot. The trickster class racer will receive a random level 1 common skill from their loadout. So, easy to follow there. I'm not going to explain that. But essentially, to sum it, there will be bonuses by dashing into your teammates, and both teammates will benefit from it, which is lovely to see because this is a team mode after all. Victory calculation, I've already explained this earlier, so don't need to go in depth about that. Ranked race improvements, we'll check this out. We have been hard at work making improvements to ranked races to make competitive Disney Speedstorm a more rewarding and fulfilling experience for all types of players, while tackling some of the most common points of frustration with the game mode. We will break down all the changes and improvements coming to the ranked race game mode in Season 8 below. Okay. So, the community gave feedback that they would like for there to be more incentives to take part in ranked races outside of earning rewards for individual racers. To address this, we are introducing a brand new progression and reward system to ranked races that adds incentives outside of the rewards attached to the individual racers themselves. Player Rank is a new progression and reward system that is coming to the ranked race game mode in Season 8. This new system is in addition to the existing individual racer reward and progression pass, which will continue as normal in Season 8. Players can earn player rank points by progressing through ranked race leagues with all of their racers. At various player rank milestones, players will unlock rewards including racer unlocks, racer shards, crew shards, upgrade coins, reward capsules, customization items, and more. Racer Steamboat Mickey will now be exclusively unlockable via player rank progression. So if you didn't know, because you might be new to the game, Steamboat Mickey is one of the rarest racers you can get in this game because he's not in any of the boxes. In terms of boxes, I mean Universal Box or Daily Box. However, that might have changed with the new update. I'd have to check. So don't quote me on that. At the start of Season 8, your player rank will be calculated based on the sum of the current NPR point score of each of your racers. You will be able to claim the rewards associated with the player rank milestones you have reached at this point. So essentially, how they used to calculate your earnings after each season was finished has now been switched to calculating your player rank, right? And now instead of you getting calculations on your season that you've done, it'll just go towards player rank from now on. So I don't think there'll ever be any more end of the season calculations going into the next season. The only thing they'll probably do that they'll keep is whatever leftover currency you had from last season will get passed on to the newer season, and that's about it. Okay, so CPU racers and NPR gain and loss. Previously, CPU races were not factored into the calculation of how many races were in the lobby. often resulting in players gaining less NPR points than they deserved at the end of each race. True. Starting in Season 8, CPU races will be treated as if they're real races. Welcoming addition, thank you. Especially in higher multiplayer lobbies or higher ranked lobbies where lobbies were like 2 to 4 people. This is nice. Hopefully those lobbies fill up with bots now too. Okay, so treated as real players when it comes to the calculation of NPR points gained and lost. This should reduce confusion while also making it easier to progress in early stages of ranked races. Nice. NPR points gains / loss. So I'm not going to really go over this because it is a lot and I still have some more to cover. However, I'll summarize what this is because I already know what they're talking about here. So for the past few seasons now, the player base has been complaining about ranked multiplayer because it was a grind fest just to get to certain ranks and leagues, only to end up getting set back for like a whole day because maybe one day you're doing so well in your winning races, but you were earning little points towards your NPR rank or getting to another league. And then the next day you're just losing all your races and you lose more points. Eventually you lose more points than you gain when you get to higher leagues, right? So if you're just trying to get by each race by coming into 4th place and you gain like maybe 40 points, right? To move on to your next race, but it adds to your NPR score. But all of a sudden your next race, you lose and come in 8th place and then you lose 80 points, 80 NPR. Those 40 points you won in the last race don't mean anything anymore because not only did you lose that, but you also lost whatever other points you earned before you got to those 40 points. So you can see where this sets people back. And because of that, it was a huge deterrent in ranked play. No one wanted to play ranked unless they needed racer shards for a new racer to do an event. And once you got those shards, you just stopped playing because getting to champion just once, you didn't want to do that again. So essentially now, they've made it to the point where instead of you losing so many points, you gain more points for winning races than you lose points for losing races, ultimately, which is great. And like I said earlier, they made some new changes to UI. So now you can see on the leaderboards for ranked races, certain stats. So now you can see your player rank, the total MP score, and then the total NPR for that user, right? And it also shows your country rank, which is nice. So any of you are into that, you can go check it out. It's live. But that's all for this update. And now moving on to the last community pit stop, which was today's. So the Season 8 patch. For those of you who own GeForce Now and who are looking to play this game or was interested in playing this game, well, guess what? It's now available in GeForce Now. So check it out. Okay, so Racer Start minigame update. So essentially what this has done is in the past, when a race would start and it would do the countdown and you had to rev your engine to the sweet spot and it gave you a boost if you got it right in the middle. Now, not only does it give you a boost, but it also gives your racer or your character invulnerability for a limited amount of time. I want to say about 3 to 5 seconds, which is pretty good because sometimes the beginning of a race can be very hectic because everyone's just shooting off their ability that they start off with if they have their epic racer. So now when you succeed at the mini game, you'll be safe from the first couple of seconds of a race, which is nice because a lot of the times in ranked lobby play, this is what could kill your race and you ultimately end up losing or coming in 8th. Yep, just the start of the race could do that. It was crazy. Regulated multiplayer. So essentially what they did here with regulated multiplayer is now it takes half the amount of races to earn the same amount of rewards each week in regulated multiplayer. So essentially you need a 5,000 points each week in regulated to get all the rewards, and that's about 10 races because each race you win is 500 points. But now essentially they're saying it takes half, so I'm guessing each race gives you now 1,000 points if you come in first place, which would be 5 races. Obviously I can't check that because I already finished regulated a while ago, just because I didn't want to sit here and do that while the new season was out. And I did say they did some UI improvements. I will be showing you guys this in my next video later today, so don't even worry about that. We'll quickly skim through here. The new racer collection filter, yep. Skill descriptions, I'm kind of on the fence about this. On one end, I like the simplified look to it, but on another end, I liked the other skill descriptions better because it was more in depth, to the point where you could adjust your racer star level to see the description of what each skill would be like at max level or at certain levels, specific levels, which would then give you an indication of, okay, do I want this skill maxed out all the way, or do I want it at level 3? You know, I think level 3 is just enough to get the same kind of usefulness as it would be at level 5 kind of thing, which I liked. And that the fact that they took that away from the skill description, I don't know, it's giving me a bad I'm just on the fence about this. This is the one thing I didn't like so far about the UI updates. Main menu, so this is what the main menu looks like. You have the shop here, you have the friends tab, the play, the team mode, solo mode. This is ranked, so anytime you hit play and one of these is enabled, you're going to be going into a ranked match. In order to go to a regulated match, you go to special events. Friendly race, this is where you go and create your own lobbies to play against your friends, or you play against the bots. World map, you know what it is. Golden pass section, missions, your quests for the day and for the, I want to say the week. I'm not sure if they last a week, I could be wrong. Your MP rank, or your progression rank now, and your racers. Pretty clean. It does look like a mobile game. I mean, I get it. It now released across all platforms, including mobile, so I guess they wanted all the platforms to feel the same, which is nothing wrong about that. But now having it look like a mobile menu, and it initially being on console and PC, does kind of cheapen the game. Season 8 tournaments and vault passes. During Season 8, tournaments and vault passes will become available for the Aladdin and Mickey and Friends collections. Okay. Tournaments will be available for racers Aladdin, Jasmine, the Genie, and Jafar from the Aladdin collection, and racers Mickey Mouse, Donald Duck, Goofy, Minnie Mouse, and Daisy Duck from the Mickey and Friends collection. Racer Boost. Racers Ariel, Ursula, Eve, and Fix-It Felix are now available to select for Racer Boost. So if you need some more strides for these characters, have at it. They're available now. Racer Voiceover. This season, Racers Joy, Sadness, Fear, and one of the 2 mid-season races will receive voice lines in-game. Racer Fear will receive voice lines during the Season 8 mid-season hotfix. Okay. Racer Sergeant Calhoun will receive voice lines at the start of Season 8. I can confirm that she now has voice lines, so yay! Felix and King Candy are still mute though, so no. General fixes and improvements. Various game crash occurrences fixed across all platforms. The first time player onboarding experience has now been updated, so if you're a new player, the way you get welcomed into the game has now changed. I don't know what it looks like, but you'll see it for yourself. And with that, guys, I have covered everything there is to cover in terms of these updates. And like I said, I'll have another video for you guys covering the more in-depth changes, such as the UI or the golden pass, things of that nature, in the next video later on today. So stay tuned for that. And I'd like to thank everyone for stopping by, tuning in, and catching the show again. Like I said in the last couple of videos, I couldn't do this without you guys. I appreciate your support and the support you've been bringing to the channel. And don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for more Disney Speedstorm content. And I'll see you at the next one, or the next video today. Peace.
Thanks for watching. Please leave a like and subscribe. I'll see you at the next one.